Hello and welcome to another episode of Star Wars Alliance. Your home. Wait, I just tried to do your intro and I totally forgot everything. Jeez Louise. Oh man. But yeah, Star Wars Alliance, guys. We are here. It's been a weird week for me, I'll be completely honest. But I am here, like always, with Katie. Katie, how you doing?
Hello, guys. I'm doing okay. I've had a migraine spiel this week, so that has been fun.
Oh yeah, that's just yeah. So I told Katie that I would share my story with the rest of the class. My week has been oh so fun. We've had some sewage slash like just pipes problems, I would say. Um, I was making chili the other day, and as one does when you open a can of beans, you
Yep.
pour the weird syrupy water into your sink, and there was a little bit of water at the very bottom. I'm like, oh, that's probably the trap. I need to take it out once I finish with all this, blah blah blah. And I noticed that there was water at the bottom of the sink when I was pouring it. I did
Uh-huh.
three different types of beans, so I had to do it three different times. My brain registered, or how about this? My eyes registered what was happening in the sink. My brain did not, because I saw more water and I didn't turn it on. And there was more water in the sink. And I was like, I didn't pour that much juice into the sink. That's weird. Anyway, and I'm just cooking, doing whatever. I finally finished the chili. And then um I'm cleaning dishes at the end of the night and the water is just not going down. I'm like, what in the world is going on? I'm like, something stuck. I clear out the trap, everything's fine. I literally like hose down my plunger, take it to the sink. I have to legit like plunge my sink at this point. It's so gross. And Abby's like, you know what? Sometimes if I am running the dishwasher, the water kind of sucks down the sink when I do that. And I was like, okay, let's do it. She ran the dishwasher. And I was wearing gloves at this point because it was just
Okay.
all over. I was wearing gloves at this point, and I was kind of feeling around the drain, and I immediately felt cold ice like water hitting my hand in the glove. And I was like, something's happening. I'm just gonna wait. And the water just kept rising and rising and rising and rising.
No.
And so I was like, cut it off, cut it off. So Abby turned it off, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna have to just wait until tomorrow, and then we'll call the apartment complex and everything will be fine. And because we looked it up, it's not an emergency unless it's flooding. So we're like, okay. So we're like, okay, it's not an emergency. We stopped it in time. Everything's fine. We'll just take everything out of the sink onto the counter, and we'll have to deal with all of this tomorrow. And so we, did our bedtime routine and everything else. And all of a sudden, while I am putting Amberlyn to bed, all I hear is, it's overflowing, it's overflowing, it's overflowing, it's overflowing, it's overflowing. And I run into the kitchen. Abby has like 6 towels on the counter and on the floor. She gets a storage tub, is having it on the ground, and is getting bowls of sink water and having to pour it into this giant storage tub. It was absolutely gross.
that
Um, and we eventually, like, we have to. I was like, okay, it is officially an emergency. It's flooding. We have to do this.
uh-huh.
So we had somebody come in with a shop vac, sucked everything out, and they took one look under our sink, and they're like, somebody did not do this correctly. I was like, cool. Can you fix it? He's like, I can't, but the plumber tomorrow can. And I was like, okay, so what do we do? He's like, just don't use anything on this side of the house when it comes to water. I was like, cool. There is like disgusting, smelly, dirty towels now just sitting in the washing machine that is on that side of the house.
Uh-huh.
So we're just waiting. And the very next day, the uh, the plumber came through. He did everything, and he's like, "Yeah, so the way they built the sink with the pipes is basically they're forcing the sink, the drain, they're forcing the drain to drain upward instead of just going downward. Um, and so it basically forces backup to just kind of sit and settle. Um, and then Abby today said, "Hey, when I woke up, there was water still underneath the sink. So we have to call them again tomorrow
Nah,
to
dude.
deal
Nah.
with that." So yeah,
Yay. Good
yeah,
luck.
so much fun. Now, I will say the hindsight is 2020 because this is an apartment. If this was our house, I'll be like, I would have to deal with all that, yeah, because I'm sure Abby would just be like, "Hey, we got to move."
Yep.
It's like, hey, like, hey, game over. This is we're gonna have to just find a whole new house for this. But yeah, that's the only good part about it. Now, I have heard that like sometimes, depending on the reasoning of why everything is happening, it could like be a fine of like $500. Of course, if people are like putting things down the sink that you're not supposed to and
Yeah.
stuff like that, it all looks like it's literally the building's fault. So
That's good.
I'm not paying a penny out of my pocket for any of this. So I'm okay with that.
That's at least positive.
Exactly. But guys, we do have a very possible short episode for you guys tonight. We are talking about the Mandalorian season 2.5 today. And we have a new trailer for Maul, which included the titles of the episodes. I did not actually see the titles of the episodes, so Katie, you will have to inform us of those.
Yep, I got
but
those.
I'm so glad that Katie did not clock at all that I did not say the Book of Boba Fett at all in my intro just now. I said Mandalorian 2.5 again. So yeah, we are going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, and that's probably more of a like, this is what we think about the entire show type of ordeal, but we'll talk about it. That's going to be our main topic for tonight. But yeah, Katie, what did you think about the new trailer for Shadow Lord?
So I only managed to watch the trailer once. I actually kind of dug it. It feels a little more spooky vibes than it did on the previous trailer. I like how they talk about the partnership between Maul and the apprentice in this, which I can't remember her name again. Devin Nazara. That's her name. And so I'm super intrigued to see how this is going to go because it looks like the alien dude that we didn't know the species of is actually her Jedi master, and they're both kind of in hiding on the run sort of vibes. So I'm curious to see how this will go. Adrian said he wanted to join this week, and I forgot to check if he wanted that.
I'll reach out to him. And wait, was he specifically wanting to talk about the Book of Boba Fett? Because then I would feel really bad.
To join. He's had a lot in his life going on at the moment.
Yes, he does. I've actually talked to him about it very briefly, but yeah, he has some stuff going on.
So I totally forgot, Adrian. So let me see if you're still on, I'll shoot you the. Yes, I want to sign in as Slice of Katie. Sure, have access to my Facebook account. I use the same login for both.
I don't think you should be sharing that
I
on the
don't think I
internet.
should be saying that either. Oops. And now it wants me to type in my password. You know what? Screw you. Sign in with your Facebook.
I will never understand like two-step authorization because it always takes you back to the original. It's just like you're making me jump through more hoops and for no reason at all.
Yeah, and it didn't even ask me for a code. And then I figure out that Instagram actually sent me a code. So, whatever, man. This is why I'm terrible with social media now, guys. I'm like, this is too old for me. Sorry, guys. Now I have to do this because I've been super bad with messaging because I still haven't messaged the Mindoc Minor guys back. So I need to do this right now. So I don't.
Speaking of bad with social media, I will do a little short thing here. Of course, everybody knows I did a pre-launch on my own business called Volume Comics. We are working very, very hard. And of course, we are not going to be ready for like a whole year or whatever. But Abby is like my biggest cheerleader on this whole thing, right? And so she sends me all these videos and all these creators and all of these influencers. And she's like, these are the people that you should be getting in contact with. And I'm just like, but do I have to? Like, not that I don't want to put in the work, but like, I told her, I was like, my itch for like social media ever since like Twitter got like really disgusting has gone super downhill. And I'm just like,
Twitter was my social media. Like, and now I'm just like, I don't like this.
Do we need it, you know? And that is why I ultimately really need, of course, the business to pop off so that way I can just hire a social media manager. And I'm just like, hey, you're doing everything. Cool. But yeah, I totally understand the idea of that. But speaking of social media, one thing before we jump into like main topic stuff that I did send you, and I do think that it was a hilarious social media moment for Star Wars, is at the Oscars.
Oh,
we
yeah.
got to see Sigourney Weaver and Pedro Pascal. I forgot what they were
presenting at the Oscars.
But they presented together. Pedro completely shaved his face, completely baby face. It was.
I was not expecting that.
It was a little weird. But Grogu was in the audience, and Kate Hudson was sitting right next to him. And like, again, guys, I shouldn't be too weirded out. Grogu is technically like a 50-year-old man, but whatnot. But the way that she was kind of like doing this, like this whole thing with her finger and everything, and Sigourney Weaver was just like, "Get away from him, you bitch!" That was hilarious. I could not stop laughing. And so I had to send it to Katie because it was absolutely hilarious. And I do think, like, hey, this is a small moment that can help with marketing towards the movie.
Yep.
Unlike, the Super Bowl commercial. So
100%. Okay, back to the trailer.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed the trailer. I'm looking forward to getting to actually see the show. And they're starting to ramp up production a lot right now. Like Star Wars has done a couple of social media videos with Sam Witwer, like answering fan questions and stuff. So I'd love to see that, especially for an animated show, because I feel like Bad Batch didn't really get that support in publication or preview for the seasons. Sorry. And so I like that they're doing a little bit more, they're putting a little bit more effort into things. And maybe it's because it's Sam Witwer. Maybe it's for other reasons. Who knows? So I'm continuing to like enjoy what they're putting out, basically is what I'm saying. What did you think about the trailer?
I really enjoyed it. Kind of playing off of what you had said. I think the most interesting aspect, and I think that it's of course very much on purpose. That's what marketing is for. Um, but the way that this trailer surrounds itself around the relationship between Maul and the hesitancy with um Devon Azara. Um, because there was that one moment where that person, I can't even remember what species they were, but they're like, you can never trust Maul. He will
I
never
think that's
be
her
the
master.
hero. Okay.
We don't
Uh,
know what alien species is, but the master's name is Iko Diodaki.
Diodaki. Okay. Yeah, that was just like they very much emphasized like, hey, he is never going to be the good guy. You can
Yeah.
never trust him. Um, which is very, very interesting. I love I've talked about this many, many times, even when we talk about books, when the bad guy is the protagonist of the current story.
Yeah.
Because if anybody who remembers anything from English class, literacy class, is just because you're a bad guy does not mean that you cannot be the protagonist. The
Yeah.
protagonist is just the quote unquote hero of the story or the focal point of the story. The antagonist is the one who fights against the main person.
Yeah.
So like knowing that Maul is going to be the protagonist of this story, well, I say that. How do we not know that Izara is not the protagonist of the story?
And that's what we don't know, right? Is the way this has been framed, the way the trailers have is like I feel like this one was Devon's trailer is kind of like a okay, let's prepare with her story kind
Mm-hmm.
of vibe. And with all the Inquisitors, like we've got Marak, we've got the Crow guy. So, like, clearly we've got Jedi hunters involved. And that's why Devon and Iko are hiding out.
Yeah.
Um, Now, the question is, how does Maul get involved in this? And clearly, Maul is the titular character of the
Mm-hmm.
story. So, in the end goal, I feel like Maul is our protagonist in this case. Um, but I feel like with the first one, we got the law enforcement guy, detective
Yes.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
And so in this one, now we're getting Devin. And I feel like that's to keep Maul enshrouded in mystery. Because even though we know Maul's story has a beginning and Maul's story has an end, it's this middle part that is the confusion of where he's at in the grand scheme of things. And so I feel like Maul is always going to be surrounded in mystery. And so in that regard, I don't know how much characterization we'll get for Maul in this to keep him, because I feel like Lucasfilm wants to keep him shrouded in the mystery.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I did want to emphasize for those who do not know, um, this takes place. Did we
1 year
say like
after
is it
Revenge of
one
the
year?
Sith. Yeah.
1 year after Order 66. So like we are fresh into a lot of different things. We are not yet like 1 year means that we are like in the middle of Charles Soule's run
Yeah.
on Darth Vader. Like think of it
Yes.
that way. If you've read all of Charles Soule's run, like think of midway through, and that's kind of where we're at. Which is also a really fun way to look at things when you have other pieces of the timeline set in the same area. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is why we're probably never going to see Darth Vader in Maul. You can kind of play it with it like that too. So, yeah, still very, very early on in the post 66 world or galaxy, of course. So
And it makes you think if Barack and Crow were basically sort of already being trained as inquisitors because of how early they get out. Because if this is truly 1 year after,
I was gonna say, if you look back at what was it? Rise of the is it Rise of the Red Blade?
yes.
If you look at there, like we kind of know that like it wasn't hardcore like training to be inquisitors, but
Yeah.
seeds were being sown with
And that's
certain
what
people in the Jedi Temple.
and that's what I'm wondering is if those seeds were being sown, but like potentially Maroc or Crow were picked up, like how we know that Sidious was trying to because he stole the list and tried to get the babies in Clone Wars.
Yeah,
Um, so if he was already trying to get recruits, these could have already been recruited versus pulling directly from the Jedi Order.
that's true. That's true. I never really considered it that way. But yeah, that'll be
Because
interesting.
that's what he did with the hands. Like he had multiple hands that he was kind of recruiting. And that's kind of what the Inquisitors kind of took over in canon versus the Emperor's hands. So
Mhm. Also want to
are we ready
remind
for
people.
titles? Or okay.
Oh yeah, before we talk about titles, I just want to remind everybody because I forgot to actually pick it up. And I'm not entirely sure if I wanted to pick it up or just wait, of course, until Marvel Unlimited. But the first issue of the
Yeah.
Mall series has already been released. If anybody wants to pick up a physical copy, they can. It has been released. It's at comic shops right now. It is written by Benjamin Percy. Great author. I think he does really good with kind of like this is going to sound a little silly, but edge lord characters. Definitely go check it out. And then this does debut, and of course with episodes titles, we will talk about that in just 2.5 weeks. So
I'm very excited for that because I just finished my total MCU rewatch. So
I've been behind on that. I just finished Loki not too long ago. Well, no. Loki. The next thing is Shang-Chi that I need to watch.
yeah, I decided not to rewatch Wonder Man just because it was literally so fresh in my
I
brain.
think there was one that I just said that I wasn't gonna watch, and I thought it was gonna be Ragnarok, but I ended up watching it anyway. Um, I need to remember where Loki season 2 is because
I watched Loki as
all the way
is.
through.
Yeah, I just watched it all the way through.
Oh, see, I was like, it doesn't make sense to watch it all the way through. I gotta watch everything else and then get back to it. So
But
I'll have
I
to find it
enjoyed
myself.
watching it back to back because even though I know that season 2 technically takes place, I think it's after Ant-Man Quantumania, I want to say.
Oh, that
I
makes sense.
enjoyed
Yeah.
watching it because you get Loki's
Perspective.
continuous perspective.
That's true.
So you
That's
don't take a
true.
break from that.
Well, then I might just go ahead and just jump right into it then. I don't know.
That was
I'll
my
sit.
opinion on
I'll
it.
sit on it. I'll sit on it for a while.
Because they want you to be able to watch all of these things separately anyways. So
That's true.
all right. So also just a random side note. I know the Marvel guys are going to talk about this, but I'm not excited for Mutant Spider-Man. I was not prepared for that in the trailer today.
I have feelings about it, but if they are doing what I think they're doing, I am not going to complain too much about it. And the reason being, as a kid, I always told myself Spider-Man should be part of the X-Men because it's technically a mutation of his cells.
Okay,
And
but I just
in
have nightmares from the 90s show where he had like the 8 arms.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then everybody's biggest fear right now is that, like, oh God, what if he turns into that in this movie? And I'm like, I don't think they'll go that far.
I
But
will not. I would walk out. That is still one of my deadliest nightmares.
but I do remember there is a Hank McCoy Beast in X-Men. In the crossover episode of the 90s X-Men and 90s Spider-Man, he explains why Peter Parker is not a mutant. I need to go back and watch that episode because there's a reason why he's not technically a mutant. And it may just be because he wasn't born with the mutation, but either way, I mean, it's literally mutating. Like it's mutant mutating, whatever. It's whatever.
That's the other thing. I'm gonna go back and watch X-Men 95 because I watched X-Men 97. Now I'm gonna go backwards and finally watch X-Men.
Nice.
Anyways, so mall titles. Episodes 1. Okay, so they're called they have decided they're going with chapters.
Chapters this time? Okay.
So chapter 1 is The Dark Revenge. Chapter 2 is called Sinister Schemes, and both of those come out April 6th.
Okay.
So kind of fitting with the we're picking up after Revenge of the Sith kind of vibes. I may also be going back to watch the Mando arc of season 7 of Clone Wars, just to kind of pick up with his story, like where we last had it, and then kind of dive into this.
For which episodes?
The Clone Wars, the
season
Mandalorian
7
arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
The finale, big finale.
Yeah, the last 3 episodes. Oh, well, it would be everything except for the last episode, because I don't think Maul really is involved in the last episode.
No, but if you watch the first 2, you have to watch the last one.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, so that's the first 2 chapters, not episodes. Sorry. April 13th, we have chapters 3 and 4, which are entitled Whispers in the Unknown and Pride and Vengeance.
Okay.
Chapter 5, which comes out April 20th with chapter 6. Chapter 5 is called Inquisition. So I bet you we know who's going to be in that episode. The Inquisitors. Kind of all the nose.
I wonder if it'll be a recruitment episode, though. Inquisition.
That could be interesting. Like, you think like Maul would be recruited?
Not necessarily
or
Maul.
Devin.
I think Devin.
Ooh. Interesting. Okay. Chapter 6 is called Night of the Hunted. April 27th, we've got chapter 7, which is Call to the Oblivion, and chapter 8, which is called The Creeping Fear. And then
I like how all of these are very like ominous.
Yeah, very ominous, very I feel horror vibes the whole time I'm talking about these. May 4th, of course, chapter 9 and chapter 10. Chapter 9 is called Strange Allies. So that kind of makes me think, okay, Devin's going to accept that she needs Maul's help, or Maul needs her help, and they're going to ally.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of are proceeding forward in the future with finale. Now, I don't get season 2 is coming vibes if the final episode of the season is finale.
Well, and the thing is, I don't know if we need a season 2.
It all depends on how the story goes, though, right? Because we've said that before and then gone, okay, the way they told the story, I could see a season 2.
Yeah. Oh, well, the thing is, this is, like we said, a year into Order 66. We know that he pops up again at around
10
BBY.
That's about when Solo takes place.
Yeah.
I think is what people have said.
10 BBY, which would be how many years after Order 66 is that? That is
10 years.
Is it 10? Oh, battle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, well,
So
Revenge of the Sith is 19 BBY, so 9 years.
9 years. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So 9 years. I guess you could like. I don't need that much filling. This is the problem that we've always talked about when it comes to the timeline of Star Wars is they want to stay in these little pockets and they're just like, hey, it's like, have you ever tried to like, you know this,
Have a spice
now,
of life.
well, you have plenty of books behind you. You've done this before and you've probably done as a kid. When you think one of your really thin books can still fit on that shelf and you just try to do it a little like it's just like
I'm having to rearrange books right now for like showing my home, and so that's what all of my Star Wars books are over here, and I had to fit all of my comics on one shelf over here. Spoiler alert, that doesn't work. They did not fit.
Well, exactly. No, exactly. And that is what's happening to the timeline, guys. Star Wars timeline is there's so many books. There's so many stories and like there's only so much that you can put in between them.
So here's my question for you. What if Maul Shadow Lord, we have 3 seasons. We have we have 18 BBY.
Okay.
Then we have like 12 BBY, which is like Crimson Dawn at its heights kind of thing.
Okay.
And then
I guess we do.
We
that's
8
true.
BBY
That
with
is true.
Maul and Kira.
Mm-hmm. So we have yet, correct me if I'm wrong, we have yet to see Kira in animated.
We have not seen her in animated form.
Exactly. We've had plenty of post stories after Solo that even take place before Solo, by the way. So I think you could. Again, if it means bringing those characters back for the justice of not being able to make Solo 2 happen, I think you should. I 100% think that you should. Because the one question that everybody wanted answered at the end of Solo 2, how the hell does she know Maul and why are they working together? You know?
So it could be that they're going, okay, we're doing part 1, part 2, part 3. But part 2 is when Crimson Dawn is kind of becoming a big thing.
Yeah. Okay. I could play along with that. I could play along with that again because it's animation. They're not gonna try to go too crazy. Now, name escaping me. Kira. No,
Emilia Clarke.
Yes, Clark. I would hope that she's still on board and that she would come in if needed.
I don't know if she would come back to voice.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I don't feel like that's her vibe.
I mean, I would be okay with, of course, some sort of like voice doppelganger or what do they call
not an AI.
Of course, yes, not an AI voice, but somebody who can mimic her voice.
Yeah.
Of course, we did have in, I think it was in oh my gosh,
Migraine brain Katie can't read your brain. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. In Rogue One, for Princess Leia, we had her daughter,
Yeah.
voice Leia, right? Or was
No.
it? I thought it
It
was.
was some deep fake shit
All of it was
with
deep
Carrie
fake.
Fisher. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, then it was just her daughter who did the
Rise of
mocap
Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker stuff. Then yeah.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I think that Amelia Clark can have a voice mimic do her lines, and I think it'd be perfectly fine, honestly.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I can see there if it brings along Kira and Crimson Dawn, um, again, only hardcore fans who have picked up the novels and the comics would understand those references. Um, but it literally connects so much story to the Empire and to the future of the rebellion and like all these different things.
Yep.
So like I think it would be fun. I think it genuinely would be fun to bring that to light. So I I didn't even consider Crimson Dawn, honestly. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, because I think that's where this is like getting started. And so I feel like that would fit like, okay, we're telling 3 stories here to tell the gaps of Maul, basically.
Yeah.
And like you could even go 4 seasons and go, okay, he's gonna leave to go find Ezra in Rebels season 2, season 3,
Hmm.
one of those seasons. So yeah.
Now, question,
Uh-huh.
because of course everybody made the assumption when the trailer dropped, do we still think that um that Izara could possibly be Darth Talon or no? Is that out the window now?
I don't see it happening.
I think it's too much of a deep pool. I think that is too Legends based, you know. I know that, and we know that Filoni does like to pull some things from Legends. He knows his lore and things like
Yeah.
that. But I think Darth Talon would be too much because of everything else that they have done in novels that do take place post even like freaking Return of the Jedi type stuff. Like I like
Yeah.
there's nothing there that really shows that there could have been a Darth Talon anywhere. So
And I feel like uh, and I always go back to what Tom said, and I know Tom is not in the story group. Um but I always like to go back to what he says. If you're going to bring in a Legends character, you want where you're bringing them in to kind of fit with other parts of their story, basically, so you're not retreading elements that have already been told. And I
mhm.
feel like where Darth Talon is in the time frame, it doesn't make sense to bring her in this
Yeah.
point. So I would hope that the story group accepts that same, because Tom may have gotten that from the story group. Is like oh, we don't want to bring in characters where we're retreading their story, basically.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that is it for the mall talk.
Yeah.
And we'll go straight into the Book of Boba Fett. Now, Katie, this was, of course, a show that we did review when it did come out.
Yep.
There was, dare I say, laughable reviews of this show throughout all of the internet.
I
Peop-
feel like it was better reviewed than we remember, though. Let's go to the wiki.
I think it was. There was still a lot of people that talked a lot of crap about it. And for the most part, I think the main reason was, Yes, there was some cringy moments, but it was the last 3 episodes. The last 3 episodes, I think, were a big factor in the negativity towards this show. But I'm going to say something that I'm pretty sure I said when we reviewed this show way back when. And I still believe, even when you are watching episode 1, if you watch this entire show, it fails to get a true grasp at what it wants to be.
And I think that's not the fault of Robert Rodriguez. I think that is a fault of Lucasfilm.
Yes.
In going, hey, we're going to let you tell Boba Fett's story, but you're also going to include these Mandalorian episodes.
Yes, but I also think, personally, after watching it again, I would have been totally fine if this was just 7 episodes of Boba getting out of the Sarlacc pit and getting to the point of where he finally is when you first see him in Mando season 2. No present day stuff. All flashback. I think this show literally could have been 3 different things. It could have been Boba Fett flashbacks. It could have been Boba Fett only modern. Or it could genuinely just throw Book of Boba Fett out the window and just be the Mandalorian the way that the ending of this season wanted it to be.
Because one of the things we talked about was, okay, the Mandalorian is not one specific thing. And you could have said, this is the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you could have changed the titles on the other seasons to go, The Mandalorian, Din Djarin. Season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like,
yeah,
whatever kind of vibes. Because you get into this rhythm of telling a story, and it's just like, completely honest, my rewatch of this, I thoroughly enjoyed. I had a ball watching this.
Mm-hmm.
I had an absolute blast. I love what Robert Rodriguez brings to the screen. I think a lot of what he does, it just makes me laugh. I grew up on Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're never going to tell me that those movies are horrible because they remind me of my childhood. And I think in this case, Robert Rodriguez is doing what Robert Rodriguez does best. He brings in different vibes and brings you splashes of color that make things memorable. And like the Mod Gang, I love their little bikes. They're super colorful. Like, those were so hated on when this first dropped on social media.
The Mighty Morphin Mos Eisley Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. So what? They want to be brightly colored. They want to have brightly colored bikes in a desert.
The problem that I had with that whole sequence is I genuinely believe that they just took the wrong camera angles for the chase. It made it look awkward. Now, I think the problem itself is Mos Eisley. It's a very compact town. It was very awkward in how you could follow things.
A downside of the volume. Let's be real.
Yes. Because again, guys, one of the most gorgeous episodes of this season is episode 6, episode 7. Which one is the one where he gets the Naboo starfighter?
Episode 5.
Episode 5
by Bryce Dallas Howard. Of course.
Bryce Dallas Howard knows how to film flight and chase scenes. It's just so good. I would have been very interested to see how she would have done the 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 gang, chase scene.
Mhm.
But we didn't get that. We got what we got. It is what it is. Because I can still see it literally so vividly in my mind. We have what's her name in the red speeder drift to a stop, and then we get that so awkward volume CGI Boba Fett just coming in out of nowhere and questions the Daimon, right? And it looked awkward to me, even on the second run. And I agree with you. This second rewatch was more enjoyable because I already know, hey, there's going to be parts of this season that I don't agree with. I already have this idea of like, hey, this season, this whole book of Boba Fett could be separated into 3 different types of shows. Like, I already have that opinion, but let me just enjoy it for what it is. I enjoyed every single moment. I still laughed at the like a bantha,
Yeah.
speeder thing. I still really enjoyed the idea of him becoming like one with the Raiders and all of that. Like I really, really do. I enjoyed all of that. Again, the only critique that I have is the fact that Lucasfilm got in its own way and didn't really think this side mission of a season through.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like I think if you had said, okay, we cut episode 5 completely because that's all Mandalorian based.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you had handed me the other 6 episodes, this would be an amazing show.
Actually, I think it would be an even better show because if you open up episode 5, which was, of course, supposed to, like, if in your scenario, if you take out episode 5, then episode 6 becomes episode 5, and then episode 7 becomes episode 6. So it's only a 6-episode season. You open up episode 5 with Din Djarin off of that train,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, wait, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
Right? You still get the feeling of what you got in episode 5, which is in the butcher, you see the silhouette of Mando. He comes through, as a total badass.
Yeah.
And here, in this new episode 5, you would see Din Djarin. You see that he's on Tatooine. And then boom. Like, yeah, because it was also in episode 5 that he went to go see Grogu. That's right. Yeah. So in this new episode 5, you only see Tatooine.
Yeah. I feel like you can cut episode 5 and episode 6 together if you wanted to with like the Naboo Starfighter, but you really don't have to. I think this becomes a great show. That being said, episode 5 and episode 6 are badass. And I genuinely appreciate Pelimoto so much more with these 2 episodes. And like the episodes are just super cool. That's all I can say about it, really.
For one, I do appreciate the fact that we do see a BD unit in this in this episode 5, or I think it's at episode 6. No.
Yep.
Is it episode 6 or episode 5?
It's episode 5.
Episode 5. He is building the Naboo Starfighter. And yeah, it is badass. And I don't know if I said this specifically when we first reviewed it. I need Bryce Dallas Howard, especially now that we are getting a Star Wars Racer video game, I
Yeah.
need Bryce Dallas Howard to film an entire feature film on the big screen of pod racing.
Yeah.
I need either some sort of like Starfighter or pod racer. Like, guys, give me co-director, like, for the fact of the experience. I'm gonna bring this one back from the dead. Rogue Squadron. Um, um, uh, what's her
Patty
name?
Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. Co-director Patty Jenkins and Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. I could dig it.
I would dig that. I would totally dig that. That would be so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. Like Bryce Dallas Howard just does an incredible job with what she has had with the Star Wars franchise. And you gotta like the lore that is talked about in episode 5. I think we've talked ad nauseum about, okay, these episodes shouldn't be here. But like talking about the context of what we do get, I love the lore that comes out of episodes 5 and 6 between the Darksaber lore that the armor is spitting out, but then also the lore that comes up with Skywalker training Grogu and that Order 66 flashback that we get that then gets expanded upon in season 3 of The Mandalorian. There's just a lot of good material here for the franchise as a whole and what they were trying to expand.
Yeah.
Deep fake Luke. Still not a fan.
Still
Looks
not
better
a fan.
in this.
I was literally looking to see one thing that I had a problem with more than deep fake facial feature was
the eyeballs.
No. The unsynced mouth to vocals.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
So one thing that really, really bothered me, and of course I would say it freaking how many years ago when we reviewed this, it became very, very noticeable after like the third sentence that he spoke. It is like you were seeing him on lag. Like his video, his face was not rendering to his voice. And like one of the last sentences that he speaks in the entire thing prior to talking to Grogu, he's talking to Ahsoka and he's like, "Will I ever see you again?" And like the way he moves his head, his mouth moves at the same time. It was like a computer that could not compute. It was just like all just very, very weird.
I again forgot to pay attention to it, so I'll have to go back and look
again. It's a thing for me. Like now that we know, like, hey, this is what they did to create this younger Luke Skywalker. We know that they used deepfake. We know that they used a basically a auto-tuned AI editor on Mark Hamill's voice. Mark Hamill stood there for the lines, but it was heavily edited with not an actual editor. Like that's the problem for me, is like you could have paid somebody to do so much better work than this. And instead you did the lazy way out. Which was a really big problem for me. And it was noticeable when I was looking for it. Because most of the time, again, even without deep fakes, when you see a heavily like action-packed scene, if you look hard enough, you can see the stunt doubles instead of the actual actors, and that's in every film out there. In this one, because they were relying so much on deep fake young Luke Skywalker, when he was doing like the flips and the running and the hopping from stone to stone and things like that, there was this weird grayish blue hue on the sides of Luke Skywalker's face.
Yeah.
And it's because of that blue screen and dealing with the deep fake altogether. It was noticeable for sure.
Yeah. That part I did notice. But again, that stuff doesn't really bug me at the end of the day. Everybody's got their own preferences.
Yeah.
At least for me, the eyes bugged me, like we just talked about with season 2. The eyes, they definitely did a better job this go round with it. So I think the only other broad thing about the show that we haven't talked about so far is the music. Ludwig Göransson did do the theme music for the show, but the overall composer was Joseph Shirley. And I do think that you can kind of tell. As much as I don't want to say that, you can tell that there's a difference.
Again, like the one when it came to the music, I did notice the difference between going into season 2 of Mando to Book of Boba Fett here. Like there was tonal changes that I liked. Don't get me wrong, like when we were looking at flashback Boba and like getting to his like final rise to being an individual with the Tusken Raiders, like I liked all of that. I think the music cues were good. It was different. But again, with even with the music cues, I did not like them ending the whole Book of Boba Fett with the Mandalorian Grogu theme. Because like you see you see Boba Fett, you see Chrysanthemum and the gang and all of them, and they're talking about how should he still be the Daimyo of Mos Eisley and all of that, right? And they make their little joke, and then the camera goes all the way up into space, and then you hear crystal clear, very loud, the Mando theme. I'm like, you couldn't even leave his own show to end with him, you know? Regardless of if you did show that moment with Mando, you could have like just swapped the two different scenes. Do Mando first and then go into Mos Eisley with Boba Fett. But I do agree that there was like, I think it was the episode where they like stormed, of course, what is Jabba's palace. Like, I didn't like the music cue there. Of course, they did make it a little silly with the little droid running under the table with like the flames and all of that and stuff. Like they wanted to fit the scenario, but I'm just like, I feel like there could have been something a little more here, especially with the music.
And I think it just goes to show how popular Ludwig got, because he didn't even return to do season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now he is doing the movie, but the man is popular, and it's for a good reason. I mean, the dude just won an Oscar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, any individual episodes that you want to talk about?
I don't think so, because again, I think overall, well, okay, so a singular thought, and I think Dave Filoni may have commented on it in the past, but I have to talk about it here. Is there any possibility that freaking, oh my gosh, I am just freaking dropping the ball on names. blue mother effer that Boba Fett kills at the very end.
Cad Bane.
Bane. Jesus Christ. Yes, Bane. Is there any possibility of him being alive?
No.
I'm gonna say no.
Let the motherfucker be dead.
Yes, no. Don't get me wrong. Like I think the same scenario takes place across all freaking media and storytelling. As long as you don't see a body, whatever. But the way the camera just panned on Bane after his death and his hat, I'm just like, don't do this. Like, don't purposely show us a dead body just to like show us that like
let the dude be dead.
Actually he didn't get stabbed in his third heart, you know, whatever it may be. So like, and then of course you do have freaking the dude that Bane shot up at the beginning of the episode. Yeah. At the very end that we still have not dealt with at all. We see him at the end of this season as the post credit in the
with the mod dude in the background.
Yeah. And nothing. Like when do you think the next time we will see him? Is he gonna get his own show?
I don't think he will get his own show. But we might see him in the movie.
I was gonna say, do you think he'll make a cameo in the movie?
I feel like we could have a movie cameo.
Because assumingly we're gonna be on Tatooine again.
Yeah.
At least once in the movie.
Well, because I figure that's why he gets a Razor Crest is because he has to go see Peli. Yeah. Like Peli finds a Razor Crest for him.
That's true.
That's the only thing that makes sense, I feel like.
Yeah.
As to how he gets another Razor Crest. Because we know he's flying a Razor Crest in the movie. So I need an explanation as to why he's flying a Razor Crest.
It's all retconned. It wasn't destroyed. But if that's the case, they
think of these things in advance.
If that's the case, they are retconning episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett, and I say no. No. No retconning anything that Bryce Dallas Howard has ever filmed ever.
Correct. Yes. But you should not be allowed to retcon things from this decade, in my opinion.
Yes. So, no, I believe that to be true. 100%.
It's one thing if you don't think of it like The Force Awakens. Like if you didn't think of something then, but now you're like, ooh, what about this? That's a little different. But you need to give it some time before you throw things out the window.
Oh God, you said decade. I completely forgot Force Awakens is now 10 years old. Oh my God. Oh my God. Katie, what have you done? Oh my God.
Well, Rogue One is now 10 years old because that's why we're getting the comic, like the special comics. Because Force Awakens is now 10 and a half years old.
Oh my God. That's
dude, let me show you this picture of Mara. And this can be on the internet. That's fine. Hang on. Wait.
That's insane.
This girl, she has 3 Grogu shirts. Because a neighbor gave us some Star Wars shirts and they had 2 Grogu shirts in there. She went through all 3 Grogu shirts this morning and was like, not Grogu. And I was like, okay, what about this one? When we cycled through, because obviously it's Star Wars Day, so we were all wearing Star Wars shirts. She put on all 3 Grogu shirts before finally deciding on the last one.
That's
and awesome. I was like, would you like a regular Star Wars shirt? And she's like, no, Grogu. I was like, okay.
Also, the fact that she calls Yoda Yo-Yo is absolutely amazing, by the way. I played that video out loud for Abby to watch as well and listen to. Absolutely amazing.
I was cackling when she was doing that. Because she was like, Grogu. I was like, no, that's a different species. Or that's a different person of the same species. And his name is Yoda. And we just got Yo-Yo. And like, we've been like practice. Have you seen like the Leapfrog movies on YouTube?
Yeah.
And so we've been doing like the first one, which is like the A says, and like going through that. And so she was struggling with the Y. And I was like, no, you remember Yoda? And she said, Yo-Yo? I was like, yeah,
there
that's
we
how
go.
You say a Y. Yeah, like yo-yo.
I will say, again, I'm gonna be the proud parent to say this. The fact that Amberlynn, and God bless you, Miss Rachel, if I ever see you, I'm gonna give you the biggest freaking hug and high five ever in existence for a parent. There was just one day that I, like last year, that I was just reading to Amberlynn, and I literally started yawning, and she picked up where I had left off and just read.
Oh.
And I literally just like was frozen, and I was like, how the hell do you know how to read at 2 years old? and everybody's like, oh, well, you probably read that story over and over again. It's like, yes, but the pronunciation, the actual recognition of letters to words, like that you cannot replicate, that you cannot mimic. So it's absolutely amazing. So I think that this generation of kids learning so quickly is really, really cool. But yeah, guys, that is it. We have
we thought this was going to be a short episode.
I know, for real. We have reviewed the Book of Boba Fett. Next week
we're talking Hyperspace Stories Grievous.
That's right, Hyperspace Stories Grievous. And then, guys, we are so close to Maul. For a whole month, we'll be talking about Maul after that.
Yes. So the first week of April, guys, we were finishing off our review of Legacy of Vader, because the last volume comes out on, I think it's the 31st, I want to say. Which is actually going to suck because my favorite author is releasing a book on the 31st. And so I'm going to have to prioritize the comic read and my favorite author releasing a new book. But then, like Clay said, we were talking Maul Shadow Lord all April long, but also the book that Clay and I have been procrastinating. We're also talking Star by Star by Troy Denning over on our Patreon, which if you know what happens in this book, don't spoil it for Clay because Clay is even more behind than I am. And at least I know what happens.
Yeah, I'm still on chapter 10. And I need to be reading 43 chapters in like 2 weeks. So
no, because we're reviewing it Sunday.
Oh yeah, in less than a week. All right. So a lot of reading in my future. So that'll be fun. But yeah, guys, that will be it. Of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on basically Instagram is kind of where I've just been chilling recently. So go check me out there. If you could, please go find Volume Comics on Instagram as well as our Star Wars Alliance Instagram and Blue Sky account. But I'm just going to go ahead and shout out and personally ask if you could go follow Volume Comics. There's a lot of moving parts happening right now. And I'm also going to say this. I'm going to say this next week too. I'm going to Chicago for C2E2, Chicago Comic-Con. So if you guys want to, grab a drink, hang out, just talk Star Wars, I would absolutely love to do so. I'm only going for one day on Saturday. So send me a message on Instagram and we can plan it out. But Katie, what about you?
Yo, you can find me on most social media platforms. It's at Slaves of Katie. Star Wars Alliance is on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. So at Star Wars Alliance with no A in the words. That's very important. Don't forget it. You can also put that username in front of @gmail.com and shoot us an email. Just remember, give us some way to reference you on the show. We love getting questions from you guys. I know we haven't had any in a long time, but if you guys ever have questions or comments about things that are airing or a new book that's come out, we'd love to hear from you guys. So with that, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time of day you are listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the force be with you.